on many occasions we have literally saved a child by finding the right way in to talk to that child to help them to move forward.
Over the last 10 years, Preston Manor School in Brent has dramatically reduced permanent exclusions, from around 7 annually to just 1 in the last 3 years.
Our 1995 Ofsted report was particularly damning, and I think really was a wake-up call. We were not necessarily meeting the needs of all of our students, and notably in our report, Afro-Caribbean boys.
With Ofsted identifying poor behaviour as a serious weakness, teachers began to plan an alternative to exclusion.
We spent a considerable amount of time and energy looking at good practice. We made a determined effort to make the child feel that they belonged in the school and that they had a say in the school and that they were heard.
The school is determined to nip bad behaviour in the bud. One example is the Year 7 anger management scheme, run by Nikki Rao.
Now remember how we started the other sessions where you wrote down a quick situation for you, something that happened in this week that went really well or something that didn't go so well, okay? Where something happened and you may have had a conflict situation and you dealt with it in a certain way. Can I quickly ask you to just jot down some notes for yourself on something that happened this week? It may have been something in a lesson, it may have been something that happened in break time or lunchtime, it may have been something that happened this morning before you came here. And try and think about what you felt when that happened.
When he tripped me up for no reason, and I scratched my head, and I went up to him and I said, "Excuse me, can you not trip me up, please?" And then he goes, "All right." And then he started to keep on bullying me, and then he got suspended, and then he stopped bullying me.
Okay, good.
Wagon was being rude to me because I told him to shut up when he was talking in class here. Mr. Otenzi was getting really angry with him, and it was annoying the whole class, and we were going to stay in for break. This was yesterday. Yes, I told him to shut up, and then he started getting rude to me.
And how do you feel inside when that happens, Michael?
Quite angry. He does it to everybody in the class, so he keeps on saying that everybody's crap at football.
When I was in geography, Mr. Evans, I was a bit chatty, and I was talking to Alicia. So when other people was talking, he picked on me, and he thought it was me, but it wasn't me.
Okay.
But it was Alicia.
Yeah, that often happens. Do you feel that, boys, that sometimes you feel like you were not the only one doing something?
And someone else just says how they were doing it as well.
What I'm going to give you now is a quick list of possible situations that you could choose to role play for me today. The first instance, you're going to do a negative reaction, okay? Where you may blow up, feel angry, swear, okay? Storm out. Something that may have happened where you actually reacted in a negative way. And then the alternative response is going to be a positive way. What could you have done differently so that it didn't blow up?
How could you deal with this more positively?
So think about how you'd like to do it. You can use whatever props you need, their tables and their books or whatever, and think about what a teacher would react to, like if a student did that, okay? And you need to think about the ways a teacher would carry themselves. Voice may change slightly. Zach, tell me when you're ready.
Ready, miss.
Okay, you two boys are paying attention to what they're doing, yeah?
Zach, you're late.
Sorry, sir, I won't do it again.
Zach, take off your hoodie.
No, I don't want to.
I'll give you detention.
So I don't care. Why are you always picking on me? Can you just leave me alone, please?
And you're the only one in the class that's wearing wrong stuff for the uniform. So can you take it off now?
Just leave me alone. You always...
Where do you think you're going, Zach?
Just leave me alone. Be quiet.
Good one, that one. Nice one. Zach, do you want to come back in for a second? Excellent. Okay. What was wrong when he walked in that classroom? Kadeem?
He had his hoodie on, he had trainers on, and he was walking in with attitude.
Basic uniform and the wrong attitude in a sense, yeah. Action!
Sorry, sir, I'm late. There was traffic down the road. Sorry, sir.
Okay, Zach, can you take off your hoodie and your trainers, please?
Yes, miss.
So yesterday was being so rude, but today you've changed. I don't know why. Maybe some sense came to your head.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you give me a help, please?
Yes.
I'm stuck on this one.
I'll get my big book. This is Libya is a country in northern Africa.
Okay, boys, that's brilliant. I'm going to cut you there because you're so involved in your role play. A quick clap for that as well. But you almost were sort of discontinuing. We're going to just quickly pull everything together now. And I want us to sort of think about, for the last activity today, think about what is good about this group.
My targets made me get along with teachers more often.
Okay. How though?
And usually I react, but now I don't react. I just count to 10 in my head and I just think positive in it. I don't think bad.
That's quite a good strategy, and that's working quite well for you, is it, Gule?
And I know how to think. Control my temper.
You feel
I don't react no more.
Okay.
You give the children a chance away from the classroom, away from the pressures of getting the work done, to think about things that you don't usually think about in the classroom. So you're thinking about your feelings. And schools traditionally aren't places where children think about their feelings. It gives them an opportunity in a small group with other children who have similar problems, perhaps to say what hurts them, what upsets them. And many of the children will come in with emotional baggage.
The school also began to work on the attitudes of teachers. A day a week, child psychotherapist Emil Jackson helped staff to understand better their relationships with children.
Teachers can almost feel it's a taboo to have any feelings about their pupils. So whether a teacher might like or hate a pupil, whether a teacher might feel really sorry for a pupil, or whether a teacher might feel they really couldn't care less about the way a pupil behaves and that they feel they deserve to be excluded, for example. Often professionals try and put to one side their personal feelings, thinking it interferes with the job, whereas we would say something quite different, which is that sometimes the feelings we get about pupils give us the most important feeling about what might be going on in the mind of the pupil. A pupil might make us feel very angry. Some pupils make teachers feel very insecure, ashamed, embarrassed, humiliated. The whole range of emotions. And if teachers aren't usually given the space to think about those and what they might mean. So I often hear teachers talking about going home with headaches, feeling stressed, until they begin to get together in a group, think about what's going on with the pupils and try and understand what might be going on for a pupil that makes them behave in a certain way.
Emil also works with pupils and encourages both sides to understand the deeper issues behind disruptive behaviour.
The problem is that sometimes these pupils come into school and unwittingly invite others to actually reject them, whether it's their peers or their teachers.
The school draws up pastoral support plans, or PSPs, for pupils at risk of exclusion, highlighting behaviour improvement issues that need to be addressed. Ricky, who's now in Year 8, was excluded from his primary school.
I used to be rude to the teachers.
When did you find yourself being rude to them? Try and remember for me.
If I didn't understand the work or if they sent me out of class.
Did they say to you, Ricky, well, come on,
Yeah.
don't forget your report?
Sometimes, because when I used to get all ticks, they used to say, well done.
So you liked having ticks, you liked the praise, you really enjoyed that and you responded well to that?
Yeah. I used to be rude to other people or annoy other people in my class.
You used to irritate other people a little bit too much, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously what we're trying to do is put into place all these strategies, Ricky, that are going to help you stay here at Preston Manor, because that's where we want you to be.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have to go to the Prue. We don't want you to lose your place at this school.
I mean, just what I'd like to ask Ricky is, do you think the PSP has been a major part to help you succeed at Preston Manor?
To me, it's like a warning. If I do something bad, then I thought that I would have been expelled. And I couldn't come back to the school.
Ricky's been on the plan for around 18 months, and it's finally bearing fruit.
Well done, Ricky. I think Ricky was very close to permanent exclusion. The fact that he was not at any stage following my instructions as his head of year.
If a teacher confronted him about a behaviour issue, sometimes he would swear at them, sometimes he would remove himself from the class and run away from them.
It was like dealing with a preschool child, stamping his feet, crying, tears, trying to barge past you. swearing at you when he couldn't express himself properly. He was a handful.
How did you turn this all around then?
I think the fundamental thing for him was having his individual action plan, which was evidence both for himself and for us, which showed him, yes, something went wrong in this situation. I must accept that it went wrong, and we've got to now move forward and try and put it right.
Ricky's pastoral support plan, in my opinion, worked very well. Everybody working together. And a copy of his targets, you know, Mum actually had a copy of his targets posted around the house, one in his bedroom, one on the fridge, so that he was constantly being reminded of his targets.
We have very close contact with families. We've sometimes had children attending for slightly less than the full week. We have given children exit cards so that if we know a child is volatile, we give them a small card which allows them to leave a classroom and go to a trusted teacher.
A lot of work has also been done with black boys, who used to make up a high proportion of excluded pupils. Fidel, in Year 10, is on his way to find out if he can come off his pastoral support plan.
First of all, target number 1 was being polite to teachers. Enter lessons in the correct uniform was target number 2. And target number 3 was not to answer back and avoid confrontation with teachers.
With being polite to teachers, my mentor, she spoke to me and was saying that, like, if a teacher says something that I dislike, don't say nothing, just bite my lip, hold my tongue, and then wait for the next break time or lunchtime to speak to the teacher or after the lesson, instead of going out and arguing and causing confrontation.
With the pastoral support plan, we placed a mentor with you, okay? Do you want to say how that's been going? Has that been helping you out?
Yeah, because with a mentor, it's not a friend and it's not a teacher or your parents. You can talk to them freely, but obviously still with respect. And they help you because they talk to you without putting pressure on you.
One thing that sort of like worried me, that when you said the report sheet helped me, because I knew that I had to be on thing. Now you're going to come off of that. How do you think you're going to be able to maintain it?
I mentioned it before. I reckon I could maintain it because, again, when like the days that Mr. Ramsden wasn't in, or I couldn't see him, or he never had time to drop off my report, I would go a day or two without my report. And without that, without me realising, I've still kept the routine of being good, getting good grades in my work and,
so it's become
and
a
my
habit.
targets, yeah. And then it's become a routine, and now that if I come off it, I know myself that I can behave and get good high standards in my work and behaviour.
Well, it's nice to say that you've achieved it. Well done. Well, at the height of his poor behaviour, there were on a couple of occasions where he was extremely rude and very aggressive towards one particular member of staff, which when we sat down with Fidel and his father, we said that if this similar incident was to happen again, then it would leave us no choice but to recommend permanent exclusion. It was then when Mr. Reid was called in and we sat down around the table with Fidel and his parents, talked about the use of a mentor, talked about the targets and how we could all work together in order to get him back on track.
We have a culture now in which staff accept that they have a responsibility to keep all of our boys in school. Ultimately, that's what good teaching is all about.